Frol, both taken away there, Vandy.
Indeed. I mean, Brax's Holdout. It's a map that we haven't seen too much of, as it's only been added into the rotation quite recently, but it's a map that I guess teams are starting to work out strats for, and quite an exciting map. It's very brawler-centric. And already off the bat, we're seeing a Thrall ban, Kael'thas ban, Ragnaros pickup, as well as a Rexxar pickup. Now, that's an interesting one there, Skimmy. Rexxar is traditionally, I guess, more of a split pusher, as well as he can just really hold down the fort with Nisha. And I'm not sure why they've kind of gone him for Brax's Holder, except for, I guess, trying to be a nuisance when they're trying to cap the warheads. But I like that pick. I'm not saying it's a bad one. I think it's an interesting one.
I've seen Rexxar in the past. Now, I saw in a composition where they had Rexxar and they just left him up on a point on his own. Misha would sit on the point and he would push the wave, and it seemed to work out pretty well. Now, they didn't have Ragnaros back in those days, but they had Mouth. They rounded it out with Muradin, and they had Tychus too. Now, Sylvanas has already been taken away on the flip side of things, and like a lot of the maps, if you have that objective pushing in your favor, Sylvanas just amplifies that twice-fold. So with Artanis in the mix as well, they're already looking at a very scary brawl snowbally comp.
Indeed, and I mean, we've seen what Artanis left unchecked can do. Sylvanas is good for that wave pressure there. And yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking in mind when I was thinking of Rexxar. Just sort of Misha, just sort of being a nuisance, just getting in everywhere. And Rexxar just sort of pushing a lane and using her as kind of like a scout or just disrupting, I guess.
Absolutely. And I mean, we can see here, okay, so we've had Diablo taken away on the red-hand side. Blue have responded with a Rhaegar. Still terrified of the potential idea of a Bloodlust, even with Earthquake taken out of contention. Now, where do Red go from this? They're going to go for the Stitches, and normally you'd see Stitches paired with a stun, or at least a Malfurion route. You'd hook him in, and somebody there would then be locked away. Stitches on his own, though, I'm interested to see how they're going to try and pair this one in. Somebody that's brawly, somebody that's very tanky without the need for a lot of support aid, but definitely not what I would have thought to pick straight away, given the other tanks that's still left on the board.
I mean, I feel like this one's a bit of a comfort pick going out. Stitches can be quite, I guess, viable. If he gets a pick on somebody, they can just really collapse in on him. And there's the Tychus pick. They've seen that tanky front line, and they're like, yep, we're going to shred it apart. And also that Malfurion being, I guess, considered and taken quite early into the drafting.
Well, they've gone for the Tracer too, which I'm looking forward to seeing how much value the Tracer gets in this game, because Tracer really can jump on those squishy targets. We're looking solely at Sylvanas and Gul'dan, eliminate them straight away, and well, it can all go downhill from there. But the fact of the matter is, Red side have gone from the Oriel. Now, I'm looking at who the Oriel is going to be trying to look to bestow hope with. No clear-cut target, but I would say it's looking to be on Stitches and try and get that poison damage amplified.
Could be on Stitches, or I was thinking as well shuffling between Gul'dan and Artanis, depending on how it sort of plays out.
Here we are, guys. Third game of the day in the Royal Rumble. Thank you for joining us as we do now go on to the Brax's holdout. Moops' squad up against the Shadow, looking to find their very first win of the day.
Both teams, as we said, have first Hiccup's team, and they've come up, I guess, unsuccessful, but there's another chance here for them to sort of prove themselves and show us what they've got.
Now, I'm looking forward to seeing how this one goes down, because we have the flip side of, Ragnaros can turn into that fort and he can destroy and disrupt a lot of that siege potential, but then you have the Sylvanas, and like a lot of maps, when I say we have Infernal Shrines, we have Battlefield of Eternity, yes, in theory it sounds great that you can push and you can really take down things that much quicker, but Sylvanas has fallen off a little bit in terms of priority, so we'll have to see. They don't really have much burst damage on the side of Red's team, but they definitely have a lot of sustained and contained engage.
Red team's basically going to want to lock down those beacons, get the Zerg rush happening, and Sylvanas will just help the Zerg just sort of crush, I guess, what fortifications are left up on the blue side squad. I mean, that's the agenda at play. Whether they can execute it, we'll have to see, because as you said, they've got, I guess, not as damage heavy as we're sort of seeing the blue team. But in saying that, they've got lots of sustained damage. And if Oriel can continue to build up her hope and keep healing them up, it's going to be quite difficult, I guess, team fight-wise for the blue team to try to take one out.
Now, an interesting observation I actually made, Vandy, is Moops is no longer on the support. He's actually gone on to an assassin, and we saw how aggressive he was playing before in Rhaegar, so potentially thinking that Rhaegar was an assassin. Not too sure what was going on there, but he's finally found his old mold to see if he can, he will be able to actually dive as deep as he did before. He'll have it actually, he'll have a get out of jail card for free too with that recall talent.
Indeed. Moves can finally find a channel for his aggression and sort of run wild with Avatar taking over the support role, snagging that Malfurion.
Well, we're waiting for these toasters to load on up. ANZ Internet, ANZ PCs. It looks like one member, Fergie Games, he's booting up that sheep now, making him work overtime to get that dial up running and working.
And that's why we love ANZ, Skimmy. And I mean, with Brexit's holdout, I guess what's the strategy? What's the game plan here? Obviously, it's to capture the beacons, get that Zerg rush happening, but there's a little bit more at play, because in terms of just the way the map is structured, it's actually quite difficult to do quick rotations on this one.
And we're seeing a big missing really in terms of globals. There's no globals in this composition, either side of the map. We have obviously the great wave clear, but in terms of the ability to rotate, like you've mentioned, teams are going to have to really be on the money in terms of almost like how Dragonstar operates, where you're looking to bounce between those two capture points to make sure you can actually claim and get a very impactful Zerg rush to utilize.
Exactly, because once you get that Zerg rush happening, a couple times, as we said, they've toned down, I guess, the early Zerg rushes potential, but it really does amp up, same as the Punishers. You don't want to be on the receiving end of a late game Zerg rush, because that's going to topple over your defenses and just make it that much easier for the enemy team to win.
Access granted.
Here we go, guys. Let's introduce the teams once more. Blue hand side, it is Tracer played by Moops, Zeppelin on Rexar, Avatar on Malfurion, Mad Hacks on Tychus, and Odeside on Ragnaros.
And red team is repped with Godlike Phoenix playing Artanis, Shadow and Oriole, Coldstars, Bitches, Blindside and Bulldown, Fergie Games and Sylvanas, and I'm just cutting myself short because there's already a brawl happening.
Well, I can see you pacing your steps there because the fight was already breaking out. Sylvanas with the rest of the crew went there for the siege. They took down, well, a fair chunk of that first tower, but the response was definitely in check. It seems that blue side knew what they were about. They guessed correctly which lane. They had only 2 lanes to choose from, so the odds were in their favor. But you can already see Misha and Rexar set up in the bot lane, and Tychus is going to be one to be taken out in first blood.
Tychus just out of position there, just wondering what he was doing with his life, I guess. And now they can again put a lot of pressure on Sylvanas to save the structure.
Oh, the Integrity Roots has caught Shadow there. He's going to drop down. One tower shot came across Moops as well. He doesn't actually have recall available. He's going to dash and, oh, dearie me, Slam as well as the Fell Flame did come across, but just sidestepped that one. Otherwise, he would have been another casualty in a very aggressive top lane engage.
Close. Moose was just putting a lot of harassment out, and really they're just trying to stem, I guess, the turret damage coming in, but they managed to get a sneaky keep away. And finally we've got an answer down to the Misha, just continually harassing their bottom turrets there, so that they set Artanis to deal with that.
Well, Rexar should feel pretty confident to sit around there for the meantime, because at the moment, I mean, it's just absolute clown fiesta in this top lane. We see one person get taken out already. Sylvanas was the casualty there, but oh, that lovely little hook, and that's what Stitches is so renowned for. Finds the kill, finds the execution, and that's perfect timing because the first set of beacons going to spawn in 10 seconds.
Perfect timing indeed. I mean, blue team is in no sort of a position to contest the top one just yet, but it's going to come down to the Misha right there. You called it, Skimmy, and we've seen in previous games, especially on Dragonstar, where he just sends Misha to go chill on the point, and he just continues to gain that XP in lane.
We can see how much work Blindside has been doing on that Gul'dan. He's already at half the stacks required for that Echo Corruption talent, and dearie me, Desire getting dropped so low. Tries to go in there and do a bit of work. Moops is going to join amongst. He does get the bomb, but it's not going to be enough. Madhax goes for the dash. He doesn't have the grenade available. It is on cooldown, so Blindside does manage to slither away. He is the escape artist in this circumstance, and it seems to be that the control is in favor right now by the red side on that top beacon.
Beautiful top up by the Shadow, making sure that he was out of further harm. But Moops doing a lot of work, trying to get him poke where he can, zipping here, zipping there. That's what we know Tracer's renowned for. And he's just trying to disrupt the team as much as possible. And on Fergie Games, quite aggressively here.
Absolutely, and that Entangle route was a great one as well, because it actually split the team in half, and it looked to be just enough to get the kill there, but they managed to find a window to find themselves out there. Moops once again going to drop another bomb, but this time the Shadow down to 100. Oh, actually, Moops gets taken in. He goes, you can't kill me, but we'll kill you. Coalstar finds the hook, and that's a beautiful play by him.
And we've got a full Zerg rush, basically, on the side of the blue team. I mean, although the brawls were happening, they weren't kind of capping the point here, the red team. So they've got quite a small Zerg rush happening. So So they all need to go down now and deal with it. But as we said, it's not too bad as long as they don't get caught out.
But there was a lot of kindness and chaos in that top lane. It allowed Zeppelin just to really establish so much presence and delay a lot of what Artanis is trying to achieve in this bot lane. And as a result, you can see how strong this push is. Now, Fergie Games is going to do a fair chunk of work cleaning this one up. He'd like it if he could push, but alas, here he is defending instead. But both pot shots are coming across on my days. Fergie getting dropped down to 25 health. Grenade coming across, but it's going to be enough. The Zerg Rush is just about to expire. And with that, I would say the blue team quite happily will return it back to base. But Moops, well, he does find a final dash.
Moops almost in trouble there, but he's got Malfurion watching his back. And Blindside now just getting a little bit aggressive with Mad Hacks. He's got his whole team there to back him up. Just needs to be careful.
Now, I'm looking at this build coming out of Ragnaros. He's gone for the Blast Wave talent, so it seems to be he's trying to almost become an enabler. Generally speaking, for a melee, and potentially looking to try and either boost himself or make Misha the secondary tank in this case.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, that's the one thing I guess we did not really touch on in the fact that we've got blue team a little bit, I guess, they don't really have a main tank. It's sort of Misha and nothing. And they're just looking to spread the damage. It's more just to put all their eggs into just having, I guess, high damage.
Well, the NSPCA will be on us after this game because this is animal cruelty at its finest. We've got a Ragnaros boss looking to try and really execute and abuse him with that speeded up talent, but it's 7-7, 5 minutes into this game. The Zerg Rush has been cleared. They're going to play it PvE style now, beginning the mercenary camp, but in the meantime, action does happen in that top lane. Stitches does drop on down. 3-2 so far, and what has been, despite all the actual pot shots and carnage, a relatively tame game.
I mean, Stitches over there was just getting harassed down by Zeppelin and Moops on Tracer and just could not get away from Tracer at the final line there. It's just what you need to be careful of, especially if you're by yourself. Tracer's going to be just so annoying to deal with.
Oh, but there we go, Vandy. GeoPhoenix is in a bit of trouble. Well, actually, sorry, Zeppelin is in a bit of trouble. GeoPhoenix is looking for the execution. He had Fergie Games rock on up, but he managed to run away, and using Misha to great execution with the heal, with the leash, manages to survive. And well, this is great timing now. 5 seconds on the next set of beacons. Zeppelin, he hasn't recalled, and that's going to really sacrifice that top lane.
And while you were watching that one, Skimmy down Blindside in a lot of trouble down in the bottom lane. He managed to survive before, but now just getting blown up by moves. It was too much. Shadow didn't have any stacks of hope to heal him up enough with, so that's unfortunate to see, especially with the beacons coming so close, but it's still 1-1. It's going to come down to the next fight, I guess, to who can then control the other beacon.
And as you said, that Rek'Sai, as a result of not going back, paid the price with his life, but Madhax is now looking for trying to run away. He's kiting with the overkill. He's doing as much as he can. Moops, he's popped the recall. He's going to dash away. Now Odazide is running on through. He is a raid boss. He's looking to be a raid boss. Can he survive right now? He's not looking for anything to happen because he has dropped, unfortunately. And Avatar, well, you know, Moonfire does do a fair bit of work. He's not a boomkin. He cannot bring the deeps.
That's the skill of Artanis there. That's what we touched on earlier. I mean, Artanis looks like he's low, but once that shield pops up, it gives him so much more survivability and durability. And Colstar getting in a lot of trouble there, just rocking on up and getting snared. He had his eye on the prize, but just got taken out.
Yep, Stitches was hungry, and hungry for death is what ended up happening there, with 4 members jumping onto him. But as a result, Vandy, I mean, they're still really into this one. 58% to 0. Right now, blue side are scrambling to try and make a beacon work for them. They do finally get control of the bot lane. They have 3 members comfortably sitting around there. Moops is going to jump to a top lane then. He doesn't spot Blindside until this. He doesn't have his pulse bomb available right now, but definitely in that 1v1 he can play, and he can definitely get that 1v1 kill, especially with Ragnaros in support.
He's just looking to be a bit of a nuisance and sort of stall here. Blindside wants to go in, but he's just waiting on his team. Instead, it looks like they're going to put all their eggs into the bottom basket there.
Oh, the hook comes onto Avatar. He nearly got away. He actually still might get away despite everything. And the lava wave comes across now. It's only going to connect with 1 member, but it still, nonetheless, clears that wave out as the swap comes across from GeoPhoenix. This time it doesn't connect, but the intending route does come across, and it's like a 1v1 in the top lane there between Odazide and Goldum, but it doesn't matter because another fight's happening actually in the lane, and that results in both Malfurion and Tykish dropping their Bandy.
Oh my goodness, there's so much action. I mean, with the grab that Colstar did before, there was just no follow-up by his team. It was almost like a surprise grab, like, oh, I landed that. And then everyone was just scrambling to try and follow up, and Malfune just slid back away, but he came back in to get popped afterwards. It was just so much. You can see now, I guess, the front line that the red team have is really starting to sort of show its worth. Artanis and Stitch are just proving to be so annoying to deal with in trying to access the back line.
Well, red side are sieging in the bot lane. It's a 2v1 right now, but Artanis does not care whatsoever. Tracer trying to be fancy, almost using those salsa lessons, but to no great success because she gets taken out. Now Artanis is looking for the 1v1 on towards Rag, and Rag, well, Baby Rag is running away, does not want to play, and that really is the power of Artanis like we're speaking of, and as a result, they get themselves full 100% Zerg.
That's good to see. I mean, we saw blue team sneaking a little bit in there, which was very admirable, and Avatar getting picked up. That hook right there is going to be doing a lot of work. This time, they knew it was going to connect. They were ready with follow-up damage.
Oh, this is why we love Stitches, because of those sort of plays there. It's so nice when you feel that you've landed that hook and you have made the play, but no, that's called Caster's Curse right there because he goes for the second hook. And as I'm talking about it, that's what generally speaking happens. They miss it just when you have it on camera.
Loads of damage coming out from blindside onto the opposing team, and that's why Gul'dan can be such a threat, especially if you get hit by all 3 stacks of corruption. It just adds up. They just take long.
Here we go though, Vandy. This is Rag with the power, gets the stun, gets the power. The lava wave is coming across now. It's going to completely burn everybody, taking out 2 straight away. More damage comes across, and there's 4 hungry members of the blue side looking for more kills. The Shadow, he actually gets the heal, and he makes Tracer drop with the support of Colstar, who is now trying to provide as much hope as possible. Shadow doing a great job there with the Detainment Strike to try and push people away, but oh dear, Colstar does get stuck. Shadow should be able to get away here because the grenade is not available, but he did his very best, and that's all you can ask the support to do.
Admirable plays by Shadow. They're trying to keep the rest of his team alive, but I feel like they just sort of underestimated Baby Rag. He's still a Fire Lord, and as you said, Skimmy, you don't let him get in any fortification, because as you saw, that's exactly what's going to come up. A lot of fire and a lot of damage.
Absolutely. The turn of the momentum there really did go in their favor. He swung around, the damage came across, and the lava wave hit them all, and well, it really allowed them to get themselves back into this game. They are full level down, 13 to 14, a few behind in kills, but really now it's a case of going back to the PvE mercenary game, keeping that lane pressure up, waiting for that next set of Zerg, and despite them being down 0% to start with that one, they actually managed to claw themselves back in with 64% to 100, so the next set of Zerg should really set this game.
It should indeed, and if we just take a quick time out, we can see the damage leaders. I guess we've got Ragnaros leading the boards, as well as Blindside on Gul'dan doing an amazing job on damage, 42k, with the next size being 35k, Skimmy.
Yeah, and they're looking to try and pad those stats even further now, Vandy, because they're going to go for the fight on towards Blindside. Suppression Pulse comes out extremely early to try and start things off, but Ragnaros gets picked, not able to do too much in this one. He doesn't have his Lava Wave available. There goes the Twilight Drain. Avatar is running for his life. He's trying to prevent as much as he can. The Integral comes across, but the swap from Geo Phoenix does not connect this time. He decides to hang on to that one, but they found the picks they needed, taking out 2 crucial targets. That is an empty tower in the top lane, and the fort is going to drop as well.
And they've also got this camp down the bottom pushing for them too, so we see the blue team now, they're just scrambling to get behind. I mean, they're not out of it, not at all. They've still got heaps of damage, and they're doing a good job staying in it, but they just need to sort of take time out and just think about how they're going to engage. If possible, they want to engage in lane to make the most out of Ragnaros' Lava Wave.
Absolutely.
But it's just so messy because most of the fights are happening around the beacon.
Absolutely, I was just going to say, there goes Unleash the Balls. He's trying to slow down everybody right there, but, well, unfortunately speaking, Misha does get taken out there, spotting 4 members, and nothing that Zepline can do but dodge that hook. There goes the Intangaroots this time, and it's now going to be 4-on-2. Fergie on the flank, Shadow in the wings, and Artanis does get taken out. The Lava Wave comes across, and he actually pops into his fort structure too to try and provide a bit of zone. He's going to chuck out a fair bit of damage on this bottom beacon. Already 58%, make that 64 right now. As it's climbing on up, they've got a double cap right now. They're not actually going to complete the cap. They're going to run off that point, trying to chase for the kills. Whilst Tracer went for the 1v1 in the top side up against Blindside. He's gone for the recall, but the Shadow says, you cannot juke me. We are looking to seal the deal with this one.
And there goes the hook out on Avatar, but he seems to be getting away, Skimmy, and instead Sylvanas gets blown up.
It's such a back and forth. You think 1 second the team have got it, the next minute it just gets turned on its head. But look at the damage. The Rag is coming across with that lava. He is chucking at the Living Meteor. He doesn't get the kill, but Deary me, the Crystal Aegis is perfect, and it pops and it shatters and it blows everybody up. The poison comes across, suppression pulse 2, and look at that. That's unbelievable. 5 members just drop like that. They got a single cap, but they're almost hovering the boss, it seems. They really want that win condition.
They do. They're making no mistakes this time because they know what it's like to be from behind. They had it versus Hiccup's crew, so they're just taking every opportunity they can get. But Moops is gonna try and be the hero of the day here. They need more team members sort of helping them out. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Moops just stalls the cap enough for them to just sort of, I guess, delay it out. But if they get the boss, it's not going to matter because they're going to have to deal with this huge threat incoming into their base.
Well, the bottom beacon's about to activate as well, so it doesn't really matter at this stage. They got the boss, the bottom beacon will activate, it was sealed at 100%, that'll push on in. Plus, they have Sylvanas, dire situation for the blue side right now, but they're going to try and make the best of a bad situation. Fergie does solidify in the top beacon too, and they're going to get as many mercenary waves to really aid in this final push.
Oh, there you go. And then Avatar getting another sneaky counter cap once again. So they're just stalling out the Zerg rush as much as possible. And that's actually quite clever because I was about to say, if they didn't cap it, moves might have actually worked against this team.
Here comes a lava wave, Vandy. The Entangle Root came across too. Look at them burn! Straight away drop. Living Meteor comes across too, and Stitches like that. The front line was just taken on out. He's popping into that structure now. He's looking for the damage. Crystal Aegis comes across. The temp strike was used. Blindside trying to drain life as much as he can, but the laser drill is just too good. It does eventually get the kill, and that finds themselves 2 kills in this exchange. Moops still looking to be frustrating. He's going to jump in. He gets the kill onto Fergie. He drops the pulse bomb, and with that, he's going to most likely die. He does. He gets whipped and smashed out there by Oriel, and they do find themselves a brace.
And they got the cap in the end, and it was almost a tricky situation there. So as I was sort of saying, Moops was almost helping the red team because if they got that cap, it would have staggered perfectly with the boss. But the fact that Avatar managed to counter cap it in time meant that they could deal with the boss, and now they get to deal with the waves. So it's a lot better for the blue team, and especially with wiping a couple of members of the red team. So it was much more of a favorable outcome for them. Which is unfortunate for the red team because they were building up so much momentum to sort of go through and clear that out. But as we saw, Skimmy, you can't fight or you can't prolong your stay if you know the Fire Lord's got his passive up, because that's when things get messy.
We can see when they're chasing for these fights, the lava wave comes across, he pops into the passive and jumps into a structure, and he literally is, like the name suggests, a raid boss. It was scary. You saw that Stitches just blow up, and with that they all had to retreat, and that's when things like Tracer can find those easy pickings. Despite all that, the Zerg wave was completed. Didn't really find too much from that one, so we go back to a more turtle-orientated style. Mercenaries in the top going to juke it out, Mercenaries in the bottom. We might have a collaboration breakout here, pre-20 though. And so it seems to be that it goes for the swap. There goes the Horrifier as well. They're going to look for this one. Moops is jumping into the backline with the Unleash. The board's trying to make things happen. And it's going to be Mouth that's going to drop. He doesn't have the ice block to use, so he's going to get popped out of this one straight away. Tennis jumps across. Make that 3, make that 4, make that 5. The entire blue side drops, and red team are furious.
So many back and forths, and I just opened up the talent board just out of curiosity, and Rag has definitely gone full Blast Wave empowerment, but even though he managed to get it, Artana swapped him in with Blast Wave into 2 team members. It didn't do as much damage because Oriel is there waiting with Hope to top them all up, so it's almost like a missed opportunity for poor little Rag. And Skimmy, I think they're hungry for the win here. They want to end.
Yeah, 10 seconds on the next respawn. They have this, and they're going to fully commit to this one. They got the Shadow who can do a lot of healing in an AoE concentrated space, so not going to be an issue there. GGs are being called out, and definitely that is the case in this one. They got cannons, they got blindside beast stepping, they got hooks coming across, lava waves jumping, and they got a bunch of people jumping out as the GG parachute man flies across the screen.
Well played by both sides. It was so much back and forth. It was really interesting to see. Every time one team sort of got the upper hand, immediately the next team fight was fought with, I guess, the other team's win conditions. And yeah, it made it such a crazy map. But oh my goodness, looking at the recap, Ragnaros' siege and hero damage, as well as XP contribution, Desired, Baby Rag, just doing so much work for his team. But it wasn't enough at the end of the day. They just didn't have a tank, Skimmy. That's really what they needed. It hurt them so much by not having a strong front line.
Fortunately, and you know, Rag can only do so much. And Misha, well, back to the cage you go, off to the circus to perform some more acts as Rexar trained you on up, because they unfortunately lost that one, 24 kills to 13. And with that, we have a final recount of the scores here from Morton. I've been told that Team Desired, they finished off 2-0. Well, Team D, I should actually say. Team D finished 2-0, which would be Hiccup's squad. We have Team B, which was the Shadow. They finished today's event 1-1. And finally, Team A, which is Moop's squad. Unfortunately, unable to find a win. They finished the day off 0-2.
Well, that's my cue to jump in, ladies and gentlemen. And just to our viewers, thank you so much for your patience through the day. It has been, well, interesting in terms of how many things have gone wrong and how to get them sorted out. In the end, we finally managed to get a decent quality stream up on YouTube just for the second half of that last game. So for the viewers that are still there watching this match on YouTube right now, you are the real MVP, hanging in there. The 17 of you that have stuck it through thick and thin, your patience is immeasurable, and just a personal thanks getting extended from the production studio to you for being so patient. Well, that's it for the Royal Rumble. Because we only had 3 teams and we've got a 2-0 finish, there's no need for any tiebreakers. So that will be it, and we'll just chat to the teams afterwards and see if we can sort out some sort of reward for them, because I have a feeling that the team isn't going to be sticking together for the summer qualifiers. Speaking of the summer qualifiers, of course, they are going to be back, well, they're going to be starting on Tuesday night right here on Gamestah TV. We're going to go straight to YouTube instead of bothering with Twitch. We're going to now that we've got a working high-quality situation on YouTube, we'll stick with YouTube. So we'll put out links during the next couple of days on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, so that you can easily find us when we go live and join us for the first round, week 1 of the Gamestah Summer Qualifiers. Well, a special thanks, of course, to Morton for organizing today, running the Royal Rumble, and our apologies, or my apologies to Morton, that we didn't get the broadcast as good as we could have. Thanks for stepping in, though, and running the show. It's been great to see you support the HotS community with your Royal Rumbles, and we hope that you have another one back. Well, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again from the crew here in the production studio, Crisis, Skimmy, Vandy, Evexium, and Morton. We're signing out.